Good day, shrewd traders. This is Gary Ender with another free market update. I've heard many traders, many ag traders lately talking about buying soybeans. This is the chart of soybeans, and we can see how it's in a downtrend right now. The shrewd trading model is actually relatively neutral on this, but this is not in a situation that I would buy it right here. Now, it very possibly could be in another day or two, or possibly even next week, but as it stands right now, this is clearly still trending down, where we see a high in the market, a lower high here, a lower high here, a lower high here. It would not take much of an upward price movement for the shrewd trading model or the STM to turn into a bullish stance on this, but it's certainly not there yet. But I know the reason that they're talking this way. Commodities and ag stocks have a very clear cycle. Chemical ag stocks, which we'll take a look at in just a minute, we see that many of them started an upward trend around July, and it's that time of year again that some traders are looking at these. But rather than using the cycle to determine when to buy it, you should look at what's actually happening in the chart to determine when to buy these specific stocks, or if you're looking to buy soybeans or any other commodity. Here we see a chart of potash. The line that we're seeing on here is the 10-period moving average, and we see that it moved down, it consolidated, and then it had another hard move down. It's trying to hold these levels with the actual low on this at 38.31 on the 23rd of May, which we see right over in here. And that was just an intraday low. The low close on this was still 518 at 38.70. But just like we saw with a down move here and a consolidation, this has a down move and another consolidation. This has not yet started trending up, and the shrewd trading model still has this in a bearish mode. If we move on to MOS, we see similar to what we saw with potash, we see the move down, the consolidation, the move down. This has a bit more of an uptrend. It's still in the bearish mode here, and now we see a very difficult day today after it was trying to move higher. Matter of fact, if we put some Fibonacci retracement on this, from this high to this low, we see that it came up to the 50% retracement. That's the most common Fibonacci retracement, and from that point it looks like price is failing. So is this going to come down and give us a potential double bottom down at this level? Will it come down and make a higher low? Either of those two situations could make this relatively interesting, but for right now it's still a high, a lower high, and yet another lower high here, failing at the 50% retracement level. If we look at IPI, which is also in the bearish mode by way of the STM, we can put Fibonacci retracement on this and see that it's coming nowhere close even to the 38% retracement. Matter of fact, it's moved up to the 10-period moving average, and it's milling around at that level right now. We see a bearish day today, but this has moved up from the bottom a little bit stronger than the first two stocks that we looked at. And again, does this want to come down and make a higher low, or possibly a potential double bottom? But if you're using the cycles to try to get into some of these stocks, you need to evaluate these charts for the setups that you might be looking for. Here we see AGU, the move down, comes back up. Again, if we put our Fibonacci retracement on this, we see it comes almost to the 38% retracement, fails at that point, and is moving down harder than the first three that we looked at. And finally, if we look at Monsanto, we see the move down, the consolidation, the move down, a little bit different action, actually a lot different action down here at the bottom, and then we see a gap right here. If we put a box around it, this gap is clearing all of this trading action up here, so that's a lot more bullish. We also see it moving above the 10-period moving average on this session, this session, this session, and then finally getting another gap higher here, and it's approaching this resistance level from these prior highs up in here. So this was ready to go at a much earlier time than the other ag stocks that I showed you earlier. When you're using cycles, you also have to incorporate the patterns and the price action on these daily charts to determine when it's time to get into these cyclical stocks. Keep in mind that you can sign up for a free membership at shrewdtrading.com, www.shrewdtrading.com. You can then also have the opportunity to participate in the shout box. This is Gary Ender. Keep yourself on the right side of the trade. That's our objective at shrewdtrading.com.